What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have Donna Presley. Oh, what? That name sounds familiar? Oh, you saying Presley? Oh, you wonder if she's related to the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Well, yes, she is. She happens to be his cousin. Okay. But that's not what we're only going to talk about. We're going to talk about Donna Presley and what she's doing and what she's offering to the people of the world and what she's contributing. And Donna Presley, I'm excited to talk to you and let people know a little bit more about you. So stick around, everybody. This week's shows, let's see. I have one public show, my regular Friday night gig, the video dance party karaoke jam over at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yes, the Rab, the place to be in Conway from 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. They got a full bar, the kitchen's open, pool tables. In fact, they have a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, you heard me. Also, Saturday, let's see, Saturday. Ooh, I got nothing. I think I'm going to spend some time with the family on Saturday. Nice to have a day off. Unless you want to hire me out, that's fine. I'm sure they'll understand if somebody needs some entertaining. Also, I want to brag on somebody that has helped me out today. I'm going to put his picture up there on the video screen. Steve from Steve's Auto. Okay, I just bought a 2017 van, a GMC Express, a pretty big van. You know, I was driving the Transit, the small Transit Connect, and it held my equipment pretty well. But my wife and I made the decision to get a bigger van because I needed some more room. And this way, if she wanted to come with me on some of my gigs and, we wanted to have a place in the van to maybe have some, have a place to sleep or kind of rest if the show went kind of late. Well, we got this van, but the thing was, it's kind of tall and it hurt her little knee when she was trying to get in and out of the van. So I went to one place to see if I can get some running boards, and they wanted my arm and my leg. They wanted about $900 to put this together. And Steve over at Steve's Auto, he got it to me considerably less. He told me what to get, where to get it. It was well within my price range, and I dropped the van off last night at his shop in Greenbrier, and he had it for me early. By noon, he had it all ready. So now I have this van with running boards, and we've already tested it out. It didn't hurt her little knee, and that's great. That is great. So I want to give a shout out to Steve Tyndall from Steve's Auto, 501-581-3214. By appointment only, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. I like that he says that because, it's 8 to 5. I like that he says that, but I'll tell you, I went to go pick up the van today after 5. He's still working. Okay. So, I gotta brag on my man, Steve. He's going to help me to customize this van and get it the way I need it. That way we'll be riding in style, not just for my DJ shows, but if we want to do some traveling, there's plenty of room to throw a little bed in the back, maybe a cooler of some kind. We want to put some snacks in there. Yeah. So, Steve, you're the man. Steve from Steve's Auto. Say it again, 501-581-3214. Excellent. All right, party people. That was a pretty long intro, but, I definitely had to brag on Steve. Let's get into it with Donna Presley. I got her on Skype, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Skyping Donna Presley now.
Got a microphone. Can you hear me better now?
Wow. She's got a lavalier mic. The girl is ready. The lady is on time. The lady is ready. She's camera ready. In fact, not just a wonderful personality, but also camera ready. It's Donna Presley. Oh my goodness. Welcome. This is Keys Dan, the What Makes You Famous podcast.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's been one kind of a hectic day and so hot. My goodness. Are you, let's see. I'm looking at your bio and I'm seeing you might be in Mississippi. You might be in Wynne, Arkansas. You might be, where are you at?
I'm in Arkansas.
Wynne.
Wynne, Arkansas.
Fantastic. I'm up here in Holland, Arkansas. Population 511. Salute.
Oh, wow. Metropolis, yes.
You got that right. I'm here between Valonia and Greenbrier, just a little bit outside of Conway. So I'm getting the major cities. How long have you been in Wynne?
Yes. Oh, shucks. A long time. Probably since 1985.
Okay. Well, I mean, also looking at your bio, you're never supposed to. All right. You're always supposed to remember a woman's birthday, but always forget her age. But I know we're the same age. We're the same age. My goodness. It's exciting because we've probably listened to the same music growing up. But you had a little bit different. And wouldn't it be funny if I said, you know what, Donna Presley, we're not going to talk about Elvis Presley at all.
Okay.
Ah!
Then what are we going to talk about?
How often does that happen? Because I know that you're in deep.
It never happens.
You're interwoven. You have the blood of royalty coursing through your veins. If he was the king, what is your title? Well, if you had to give the blurb on your Wikipedia page,
I'm not going there.
Which you already have. You have quite a few bios out there. People have done extensive research on who you are and how are you related? And who is that?
My mother Nash and Elvis's father Vernon were brother and sister. So I'm first cousin.
Got it. I mean, that's definitely easy to look up, to find out about. But let's back up a little bit, okay? Where was it?
Okay.
Where was a little Donna Presley born? Where was little baby Donna Presley born?
Well, in East Prairie, Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, that's totally unexpected. I didn't read that. I didn't hear that. How did you end up being born in Missouri? Not that you had any kind of a choice. Your mom just happened to be there. I mean, were your parents living there at the time?
Exactly. My mom married my dad. That's where my dad was from. So she moved there. And that's where I was born and lived until I was 17.
Okay.
And then we moved to the Circle G Ranch. Well,
Missouri is the show me state. Tell me what you know about Missouri.
Well, it's a great state, it's lots going on there. And, I loved my time when I lived there. I lived about 25 miles southeast of Sikeston, Missouri. So, I grew up there. I went to school there and lived there till I was a junior in high school. And then I graduated from Horn Lake High School in Walls, Mississippi, or Horn Lake, Mississippi. So it was interesting. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I had a great life, a great childhood.
Well, Donna Presley, you keep saying Missouri, and I keep saying Missouri. Because I'm from Miami. I guess I'm from Miami, Florida, which is the biggest suburb of New York. So people used to say that I was a Yankee from Miami, even though it's further south than almost any other place in these United States. They still consider South Florida as being Well, you guys are Yankees. Most of the snowbirds go down there and visit.
Right.
So that's where I'm from. But but Missouri. I want to pronounce it right. Missouri. I remember. Was it Outlaw Josie Wales spent a lot of time in Missouri? I guess that was part of the old West, part of that frontier. Did you ever get into any of those tourist traps in Missouri? If you were given the walking tour, if you were giving the tourist tour of Missouri, where's the place to go in your town?
In my town, where I was born, there's not a whole lot there, so probably the local malt shop.
Okay.
That's where I spent time out of school.
Well, I like a good malt. I mean, if you notice the size of my face on this screen, if you're watching the video version of this, and I encourage you to check out the video version if you're listening to the audio version, because you'll see Donna Presley right there next to me. Fantastic. And this, the hair, the smile, the animal print. I mean, the white walls, it kind of looks like you've made yourself your own little oasis, your own little part of the world where you have your memories tacked up on the wall.
Indeed, yes, absolutely, I have. Yeah, it's my room is my spa. It's where I go to unwind and just relax and decompress.
Okay. Well, tell me what were you getting into? What kind of mischief were you causing, or were you a goody two shoes in Missouri when you were growing up to 17? I mean, you had your grade school and you had your high school. Mm-hmm. You almost I think you said you almost graduated. You got out of town before you graduated from that school. Right. But what kind of extracurriculars were you getting into?
Well, I was a cheerleader and things like that. So, I have to say I was a goody two shoes. I have to say that. I was the child that all the parents said, "Why can't you be like her?" So yeah, I was a goody two shoes.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if you have siblings. I'm going to ask you about that in a second. I had a brother, and he was the brother that busted out of his crib, got lost at Disney World. He was the one that got it, into the ice cream, found the cookies, had a right arm reach of 8 feet so he can get to the top shelf to get to the cookies. And I was a pretty good kid. I mean, I tried my hand at staying out all night, but I was already in my late teens when I stayed out overnight. But tell me about, do you have any brothers and sisters that you grew up with?
Yes, I did. I had 2 older brothers and a younger sister. My sister was and still is. She's the more firecracker of the bunch. I mean, we all have a little bit of a temper, but I mean, she was the one that would always get into mischief. And then I had a brother that he's just a few years older than I am. He was always getting into fights. So, yeah, we had a little bit of that too. So, Well,
did he get into fights?
One of us had to be good.
Well, did he get into fights over you? Because a lot of times the older brother is protecting the younger sister. And I got to tell you, I'm partial to redheads. I do like the red hair. I do. It's so striking. I know there's only a small percentage of people that have red hair. Is that what was it? Whoa! I mean, did you grow up with red hair? Is that your natural red hair, or is it? Are you Lucille Ball and painted it on?
Well, I grew up a brunette, but I like the red. So yeah. I changed it, as we women do as we go through life, so yeah, I really like it better. It suits my personality better.
Well, you keep them guessing. Okay. My wife definitely does that. I married her. She was a fiery redhead, and then slowly it turned back to her natural auburn, and now it's changing even more. So yeah, you keep them guessing, keep the men's guessing, ladies.
Absolutely. That's the way to go,
And she does spark my interest.
That way they never know.
Absolutely. You like that kind of girl? I could be that kind of girl. Boom. There you go. There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of magic, and pow, you are the one. But I mean, I don't want you to have to bend and break too much for any one person, as long as you're doing it for yourself primarily.
I am. what you see is what you get. So, this is me.
All right. Well, let's see. We started off. We're in Missouri. I can't remember the name of the town though. And how big was that town?
It was about probably 5,000 to 8,000 people. Not very big.
And what was the name of that town?
A little bigger than the town, but not very big. You know.
What was the name of that town you were born in?
East Prairie.
East Prairie. Not even Prairie. It's East Prairie. I've talked to people from West Virginia. It's like, it's not Virginia. It's West Virginia. We couldn't even come up with a different name. So East Prairie. Like North Little Rock.
Exactly.
We couldn't even come up with another name for North Little Rock. Really? That's a whole nother town.
It is. You're right.
It is. They couldn't come up with their own name. But what's in a name? I mean, the great bard Shakespeare said, "What's in a name?" Right? A rose would smell just as sweet by any other name.
Well, I guess they thought, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We'll just add North to it and go with it.
There's some big thinking right there in the show me state. All right, let's get out of the show me state. You're 17 years old. Okay. You're just about to go into your senior year. And where do the parents want to take you now?
Well, actually, Elvis bought the Circle G Ranch in Walls, Mississippi, and so he asked my dad to come and work for him and oversee both properties. So we moved on to the Circle G. And I went to Horn Lake High School and graduated from there. And then Elvis decided to sell it in 1969. So when he decided to sell it, he moved us onto the grounds of Graceland, and we lived on the grounds of Graceland right behind the house.
Wait a minute. I've been to Graceland. I've been to Graceland several times, and I know that there's a few buildings, a few structures in there. The first time I went was in 1999. And I remember they let us go upstairs, so I was able to go upstairs and peek into the bedroom, and take a look around there and do the touristy thing. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Circle G Ranch in Mississippi. I know I've been to Tupelo and I've seen the shotgun shacks and I've seen the museum that they have there with the church and then the knickknacks and such that they have in the gift shop there. But, right. Is that around where the Circle G was or was that further away?
No, it's further away. The Circle G is it's about 20 minutes from Graceland into Mississippi. And Tupelo is about, an hour and a half, something like that. So it's in between the two of them.
Well, tell me about the Circle G. You said your dad was taking care of that. What was your dad's name?
Earl Pritchett.
Earl Pritchett. Okay. And what kind of work did he do before he was working for Elvis?
Well, a little bit of everything. He drove a truck. He owned a shoe business, where you repair shoes, different things. He was a jack of all trades, could do a little bit of everything. Well,
it sounds like a hardworking man. That's a good thing.
He was.
Well, okay, all right. I'm going through your bio a little bit, not a crazy amount, because I definitely want to hear it straight from you. Yes. Let's talk about your mom. What kind of work was she into? Nash, I guess.
Well, my mom was mostly a stay-at-home mom. She did work for a short time in a retail store. But she mostly stayed at home and just took care of us and raised us. And then later in life, she became an Assembly of God minister. And Elvis bought her 4 acres of ground there in Walls, Mississippi, and helped her acquire a metal building and put it up there. So, he wanted to help her with her ministry because we grew up in church, and Elvis did too, and he was very faith-filled and had a strong faith and belief in God, and he wanted to help her with her ministry. So he acquired that for her and helped her with that, and then one night he called her over and he said, Aunt Nash, I want you to come go with me. I want to give you a car. And she said, well, honey, you gave me a car last night. And he said, no, that was a family car, and it was I think a Mark IV Lincoln. And so he said, no, that was a family car. This is just for you to do your ministry in. So they go to downtown Memphis and go to a Pontiac dealership And he takes her, they're standing out there at the car dealership, and he says, "Okay, Aunt Nash, pick one." And she said, "No, honey, if you want me to have one, you're going to have to pick it out." So he took her by the hand, and they walked around the parking lot there, and checking out cars. And he came upon this baby blue Grand Prix Pontiac with a white leather Landau top and white interior. And he opened the door, and he had her sit into the driver's seat. And he knelt down beside her on the pavement, and he said a prayer. And when he stood up, he said, "This is the one." And so he gave her a car for that. So it was, he was quite instrumental in helping her, because he knew it was important for the ministry to get out to people that, like nursing homes and things like that, where people couldn't go.
Well, Donna Presley, you hear the stories, and it's great to hear it straight from his blood relative. The stories about his generosity and his faith. The Elvis Presley definitely was a man of faith. He had. Hey, we're complicated. Humans are complicated one way or another. Yes. Whether he had, the vices that we have, but there was always a search. I mean, was it? Am I correct? Was he holding a book called "The Search for the Face of Jesus Christ" or something along those lines? Was that the last book he was reading?
I think it was The Prophet. If I'm correct in that, I believe it was The Prophet or something along those lines. But yeah, he was always, reading the Bible. And I know he would call my mom over a lot of times, and they would go up in his room and they'd discuss the Bible for hours, And he always knew that she would tell him, this is what this means to me, and so forth. And a lot of times when you get to the pinnacle of success that Elvis was, people tell you what they think you want to hear. But he always knew that my mom would, be straight with him, because she was 9 years old when he was born and lived next door to him. Oh. So they played together. She babysat him. She took care of him. So, they remained close all of his life.
Well, it's hard when you achieve a certain amount of fame to know who's going with you because they really like you, because they truly want to be friends with you, or who wants to just get things from you. And with a person who's so generous, people might take advantage of that. I know I've had a small amount of fame in my life, and I think I take everybody at face value. I think for the most part, most people are good people. I'm not the cynic that I could be. Growing up and getting knocked down from time to time because you're trusting. You're too trusting. Do you find that you're a trusting person, or do you find that you kind of look at someone side-eyed until you get the value, until you know who they are? Are you standoffish, or are you fast friends?
No, usually I'm very warm and open and welcoming. And unfortunately, like Elvis, many times I've been burned many times, but that's still a part of who you are. You try to use your head a little bit more than your heart sometimes. But as a friend told me, he said, "Always trust your gut, and they'll never steer you wrong." So that's what I try to do.
There's a lot to that. Scientific. My goodness, I listen to podcasts all the time, and listening to your gut, you have little creatures living in your gut. And they're pretty much telling you what to do all the time. They tell you what to eat some of the time because you know what? I'm hungry for pizza. Send some pizza down here. So they'll tickle you and have you send down what kind of food they want. So maybe I shouldn't trust my gut, because I don't need to eat all that pizza. But that's a whole nother story.
I wasn't talking about food, but okay, we'll go with that.
Well, your gut is a true thing. I mean, there are little creatures living in your body, and some people go, "Ooh, that's kind of gross." But yeah, they're all over us, and we live in symbiosis. People have written songs about him. People have written books about him as well. And I know we're going to get into your authorship and your musicianship and all that kind of thing. I want to know, I'm just getting the little tent poles of how you became who you are. And I know it's intertwined and interwoven. And I love that it's family. It's not just Donna Presley. It is the Presleys. It is all of the Presleys and a very tight family yes, you had a benefactor who made some success. He had the ability to where he didn't have to worry about money so much. So let's bust off a little bit and help out the family. And let's buy you some acres. Let's get you a metal building to put on those acres. Let's help you preach the word of God if that's your path that you choose. Helping people. And have you taken that upon yourself? Is that part of what you do, part of your life? Because in my feeling, once you get to a certain amount of success, you take care of yourself, make sure that you're all straight, and then you take care of the people around you, and you make circles as far as you can go, as far as your resources can take you. I don't know, how have you lived your life? How do you feel about that statement I just made?
Well, certainly, I try to help people when I can. Of course, I don't have never reached the pinnacle of success that Elvis had, or the money either. But still, you try to help people when you can, and it's not always about money. It's not always about giving them something. It's about giving, like Elvis would do, would give time, and you could sit down and talk to him, and he could help you with a problem that you had, or just something that might be worrying you for some reason. So it's giving of yourself and trying to help others. And, Elvis wanted family and friends around because we kept him grounded. He knew that we loved him before he was Elvis Presley, and he could count on us to be there for him. And like you said, you can't always, and he even told me that. He said, I envy you, Donnie. And that's what he called me, was Donnie. And I said, how so? And he said, well, when somebody says they come up to you and they want to be your friend, they want to be your friend because they like you. And if a guy asks you out on a date, it's because he likes you. He wants to take you out. But he said, I don't have that luxury. So, it can be like life. And my mom always said Elvis lived in a gilded cage. And that's so true, because it can be very confining. And you try to get with the people that love you no matter what, and that care about you no matter what, and no matter who you are or what you have or what you don't have. So if you stick with those people, they were there before your success. They're going to be there after your success. That's the people you want to remain around. My
goodness, that paragraph was words of wisdom, words to live by. I look at the kids. I think of poor little Justin Bieber. Okay. Yes. He was a little kid on YouTube, and he came up with some success. Mm-hmm. Now, if I had a camera in my face from the time I was 11 years old all the way to the time I was 21 years old, I'd probably be in jail, because you just can't live your life with a camera in your face all the time, and people trying to take advantage of you, steering you which way to go. And I'm guessing that Elvis Presley had that same time from the early 50s when he started singing into that can all the way up until his sadly his too early death, for sure. But people steering him the right way and the wrong way, and that's the music business. If you don't get to know the business, it's going to eat you alive. It's so tough to steer. I mean, but how have you? Okay, you're 18 years old now, living in Circle G Ranch, and then quickly being moved up to Graceland. And I guess, on your bio it says you were playing at Graceland from a young age. But when did you get to Graceland? How old were you?
Well, when I was about 10 years old, I started staying at Graceland in the summertime with our grandmother, because she lived with Elvis. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And so every year, every summer, I would go to Memphis and stay there. And then my parents would come pick me up like a week, a week before school. And then I'd go home. And so I was there every summer, and I loved it. And when I was about 14 or 15 years old, Elvis, my parents had come to pick me up to take me back home. And Elvis called me and my mom and my dad into the dining room, and he said, Aunt Nash, Uncle Earl, we really love having Donnie here, so we'd like her to just move in with us and live with us. You can come see her anytime you want. I'll send her to school. I'll buy her a car. when she graduates from high school, I'll help her get into whatever career she wants. So, of course, I'm sitting over there going, yes, yes, yes. And my dad was okay with it, but my mom went, no. And he said, but Aunt Nash, and she said, I know you take care of her. I know she'd be fine, but she's my little girl and she's going home with me. So I did. But as I said, when I was 17, we moved on to the Circle G. So it worked out perfectly anyway.
Well,
I had the best of both worlds.
Well, it sounds like at that moment in time, in that moment, you wanted to go with Elvis. But I think Nash, your mama Nash, had a good head on her shoulders that you have to step into this, because even Elvis didn't instantly go into fame. When you're surrounded by that much, that much fakery, fake people around you, along with the real people, but you can't figure out which ones are the fake ones and which one the real ones. What was the joke I heard? I have some champagne for my real friends, and I'm a real pain to my sham friends. I don't know why that came to my head, but you got to know which ones are the real friends and the sham friends. And if you're living a more normal, quote unquote, life, you can kind of figure that out. You can gauge through it. So you went to a normal high school, and after you got out of that normal high school doing your cheerleading, yay! Where did you end up? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, at first I wanted to wanted to be an airline pilot first, but then I decided against it. But then I did different things. I did some modeling and different things like that. Then, believe it or not, before I actually started doing this, entertaining and everything, I was a co-owner of a funeral home and crematory. So, I know, right? People look at me like, huh? But yes, I did. And, it was great. I did that for about 7 or 8 years. And then, then I stepped into this and started doing this. And I love it. I actually do. I mean, it's a legacy that I feel like has been left to me by my family. And, I love traveling. I love going to Europe. And Elvis always wanted to entertain in Europe and wasn't able to. So I feel like it's, I'm able to go and stand in his stead and hopefully bring a little bit of Elvis with me.
Yeah. Okay. I got to back up a little bit. I'm a fan of the mortuary arts. I like the things that are dead, and find out, how do we take care of the vessel that you were living in after you die. What happens after you die? And you have some kind of a knowledge of what happens after you die. I did some pickups. I did one pickup. I helped a guy do a pickup from the airport, and I remember we had a station wagon, picked up the casket at the airport. We're taking it back down to the Keys, and we had a flat tire. So we had to take the casket out.
That happened to me too.
Had to take the casket out on the highway, change the tire, people beeping and honking and watching. Oh my goodness. We couldn't change that tire fast enough. So you say, when you were doing a pickup, did you have a flat tire?
Yes. But we didn't take the casket out. We just fixed it with we had someone come along and help us fix it with it in there. So we didn't take it out. But I mean, I've done it all. Of course, I haven't embalmed anybody, but, I have helped, been there. But anyway, it's quite interesting, the things that happen. And that this is the last thing that you can do for these people. So you want to do a great job. And you're meeting with families that are at the worst times of their lives, losing a loved one. And so you try to, be comforter to them and give them, this peace and comfort and serenity. But you also want to bring a little levity into it. It's a hard time. So you ask them, when they're sitting there making arrangements, well, tell me about your loved one. Mm-hmm. And they'll get to telling stories and they'll get to laughing and it kind of lifts the mood a little bit and helps them to remember the good things about their loved one and, to bring a little laughter into it.
Well, you have a little insight. I wondered about the mortuary services. There's a lot of polarizing thoughts about, do we bury someone? Do we chunk them in the clay? Do we burn them? Do we throw it at sea? What do you want to happen? And I know this is morbid. What do you want to happen after you shuffle off this mortal coil, which I hope is hundreds of years away?
Yeah, well, me too. Well, actually, cremation is on the rise, and it's a lot. A lot of people are going that direction. However, I've been told by my children that that's not going to happen to me. They want me to, they want to have me in a place where they can go visit and just be there with mom and commune with me. So it's up to them. If that's what they want, then that's what they'll get.
But it's your will. Oh my goodness. No, it is what you want. It's your last will.
I've seen both. So it's what's important to me. And what's really important is, your loved one is gone. And so it's really left up to what makes you, the family, happier, and how you want to, perceive them and how you want them to be, whether it's cremated, and then, take them home and put them on the mantle or whatever, or, to bury them. So it depends. It's just your ideas and what you want. That's the way it should be.
Well, we talked a little bit about vices earlier, and one of my biggest vices is having a cafe bustelo, an espresso every morning. Got to have it. So if my last will, maybe cremate me and put me in a little jar of bustelo and a little coffee can. Please don't make me into a coffee cup. Don't do it. Don't drink me. Don't drink me. Don't do it. But, that could be a last resting place. But I think about, people go into trees and stuff, decide to plant themselves and become fertilizer. It's weird. Yes. But I do appreciate that you had, my goodness, 7 to 8 years of your life. So that was a big chunk of your life that you spent learning the ins and outs of this business, and you never embalmed in that whole 7, 8 years, but you say you helped out a little bit, like handing somebody the tube, I guess, or what did you do?
Yeah, just being in there in case they needed help with something, that kind of thing. But at least I saw all of it, and I knew what happens. And I was telling, I was on a cruise just recently with Linda Thompson and Sam Thompson, who, dated Elvis, and Sam was his bodyguard. And I was telling them, what I'd done before. And Linda said, "Oh, Elvis would love that." And I said, "I know, that's what I always said." I said, he'd been there every night because he was very interested in that, and would often go to funeral homes, and watch and see what happened. So it's kind of funny that I actually went into that, because it was something that Elvis enjoyed, learning about, because he was a seeker of all things. He loved knowledge, and anything like that he appreciated.
Well, that's something over the years that I think that I've gleaned from learning about him. And I'd be remiss, I didn't learn about Elvis on my own. My grandma was and is 94, 95 years old, and still, loves the King. Probably Elvis's biggest fan, but that kind of thing, where Elvis clocks and Elvis posters and Elvis, all things Elvis all over her home. And, where now that my grandpa has passed away, the Elvis has taken over her piece of paradise in Key Largo. So, I appreciate it first from her. And then when I learned, about the King and what he did and all the thirst for knowledge, I do believe that to be true. That, once you have no worry for money anymore. Okay. Yes, I've made a bunch of money. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore. I think Forrest Gump, that was his subplot. Once he got the money from Apple computers and he went, I don't have to worry about money anymore. One less worry. Okay. Now you can go off and learn things and be a a person of the world, or a thirst for knowledge. Now, well, you say that when you got out of, did you go to college at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was an apprentice. I started to work at a funeral home, and the director there became a good friend of mine, and she said, you're here. Why don't you go into the apprenticeship of being, a funeral director and so forth? And so, and then that takes like 2 years. So I did that and did everything that was necessary, took the test, and became a funeral director. And then we actually went out and bought and, created our own funeral service and crematory. So, I went from working there to being a co-owner of one. So it was a nice time. I learned a lot, and it helps you grow. It helps you realize, what's coming, and it also makes you realize how short that life is at times, and that you need to go out there and live your life boldly, and do the things you want to do. Live your dreams, because you never know when it's going to be snapped away from you. And so the people that you love, tell them that you love them. Be there for them and enjoy life, because it's you might not have it tomorrow.
Well, Donna Presley, these are the tent poles. These are the turning points, the crossroads that you have. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have expected when you were 10 years old, hanging out in Graceland and living in Missouri, and then 17 going to Mississippi? Was it
Mississippi?
Yeah, going to Mississippi, and then getting out of school, and then there's two ways to make your way in this world. You can go to school, get yourself a degree, and try to work that way. That was never my thing. I went to college a bunch of times. I got little certificates in firefighting, in EMT and paramedic and radio school, right. That kind of thing. I went to radio school and learned like that. And those are my favorite kinds of schooling, where you get a vocation. It's a couple of months and bam, you got something. Well, here you went, you did your couple of years, and you not only went and worked at a funeral home, you excelled enough to have your own funeral home. That says a lot about you. You when you do something, you go all the way. You learn everything there is to learn, and you go all the way. Now, what year are you getting out of the funeral business? Is this in the 70s and the 80s? Where are we at here?
No. This hasn't been that long ago. Okay. Probably 5 years ago is when I actually stopped. Got out of the funeral business and started back into this. I had done this a little before, like 25 years ago. And then I went home and just did regular things. But then I got back into it about 5 to 6 years ago. So, it's a new career for me, and I'm enjoying it and having a blast doing it, and love connecting with the fans and being on stage and performing and, talking to them and hearing their stories about Elvis and, how he touched their lives. And like you were saying about your grandmother, and she taught you about Elvis. Elvis was an ordinary man, but he was touched by God to do extraordinary things. And when you touch somebody in their heart, and you become like a family member to them, they carry you with them wherever they go, and they raise their children and their grandchildren on you. So that's why you see fans today for Elvis 46 years after his death now that are from age 2 to 92. So, the whole spectrum, because he reached the pinnacle of success that few people ever reach. And he did it by being kind, honest, having integrity, and being a gentleman, and being loving and caring and kind to everybody. So when you have values like that, and you stand up for your faith in God, and you stand up for the love of family and friends, and he was a huge patriot. He loved his country, and went and served his country. When he really could have gone to the USO and just entertained the troops. No, he wanted to do it as a soldier. which is commendable, and he loved it. And, you can see that in him every time that he would sing American Trilogy. You could just feel and see the love and the passion in him that he had for that. So I always say, anytime you see a serviceman, go up to that or woman, go up to them, thank them for their service, because you can bet Elvis would do that.
Oh, for sure. And American Trilogy, my goodness, I run a karaoke show every week, and at least once a week, sometimes twice a week for the public. I do a lot of private shows too, but on Friday nights over at the Rab, my goodness, I got at least one guy, sometimes two guys that like to sing some Elvis. And one of those guys in particular sings the American Trilogy, and you can feel it. You could feel it down deep when he's singing, the Dixie, and he's singing the Battle Hymn, and then the Hush Little Baby. Oh my goodness, you could feel it, and the whole crowd feels it. And he's channeling Elvis. He's channeling that spirit that he had. Of course we can't dream to have that golden voice, but we can try. We can channel. We can think. But the more you speak about people that have gone on, it keeps them alive forever. I mean, not just Elvis, but your family members and your friends. As long as you talk about them, they'll stay alive forever and ever. And that just means that they've made their mark on the world. Yes, Elvis made this huge mark on this planet. But your family and your friends that have gone on, you want to think about them as well. And I start thinking about my mortality. I was born in 1969, so like I said, we're kind of the same age. So I start thinking, oh man, another one of my friends from high school has gone on. Shuffled off the mortal coil. Yeah. And you got to think about them, and it's like, okay, I guess maybe I'm on the downward run, but we still get a lot of life left in us, don't we? Don't we?
Absolutely, we do, and I plan on living it to the hilt.
So tell me, all right. So people that don't, for the people that don't know, Donna Presley, what is this new endeavor that you've gotten into over the last 5 years? What are you doing these days?
Well, I'm doing some singing, and I'm traveling the world and telling people about Elvis and the family. And as I said, hopefully bringing a little bit of Elvis with me to the stage, so that, they can reconnect with him and see what kind of person he was, because everyone knows the legend, the superstar, but not everybody knows the man. And I think that's the reason he's still remembered 46 years later after his death. Not only was he the greatest entertainer that ever walked on the stage, but he was one of the finest men to ever grace the stage of life.
Well, Elvis Presley. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I can show that to people and let them see that, and also if they enjoy my performing, my singing, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Well, Elvis sold records all over the world, but really he didn't travel. He didn't get to perform outside the United States, or did he at all?
No, he didn't. And I think he did in Canada once, but he always wanted to go to Europe and connect with his European fans. And that was a huge thing, a huge desire for him, and he wasn't able to do that. So I feel like it's a legacy that's been left to me to be able to go and stand in his stead, and hopefully, bring Elvis with me and give that to the fans over there.
So where have you been able to go, and how have the people been treating you?
Oh, well, everyone treats me just wonderfully. I mean, they're so receptive of anything Elvis, But I've been to I've been to New Zealand, I've been to Austria, I've been to Germany, I've been to Italy, I've been to Slovenia, I've been to, it's probably easier to name the ones I haven't been to, but England. So I've been around a lot of places.
Yeah, and now the mean,
and I love it.
Yeah, now the mean question, Donna Presley. Where's your favorite place? No, don't answer that. Don't answer it. That was me. I was bad. Don't do it. Every place on this planet has its ups and its downs, its goods and its bads, and I'm sure there's wonderful people all over the world. And I worry about that. I worry about
each place that I've been has its own beauty. I was in Sweden for 3 months, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's beautiful. The people are very warm and welcoming, and I had a great time. But I've been to New Zealand, which is tropical and fabulous, and everywhere you look is beauty. But each country has its own beauty. And so it's hard to say what is my favorite place that I've been to. Every time I go to a place, oh wow, this is it. I love it. But then you come home and you think about, well, I loved it there and I loved it here. So Italy is one of my favorites. I do love Italy, and I love Austria, and Germany is another one. I love going to Germany and to Sweden. So they're all great.
Well,
I couldn't say anything bad about them.
That's one of the downfalls of traveling is you go into these new places, and just like, getting a new car or getting a new mate, having meeting somebody new, making a new friend, it's something new. So you fall in love with it pretty quickly and you go, wow, you know what? I would love to live here. And after a couple of weeks, you go,
yeah,
you know what? It's just like every other place. I could live. I'm just going to go back home. It's so nice to go traveling, but it's so much nicer to come home. I know that's a song.
Well, I come home and I'm home for 2 weeks and I'm ready to go again.
That's a world traveler right there. I mean, I've been all over this country, but like Elvis, I've never been outside these United States. Although I know he was stationed in Germany when he was serving with the Army.
Yes, he was. Uh-huh.
But okay.
And that's a beautiful country, and I have a lot of great friends in Germany, and I love it there too. So anywhere in Europe that I've been to is A-okay with me.
All right, you heard him. You heard her, folks. Invite Donna Presley back to your fine country and let her sample your wares and your fine delicacies. And yes, that's fantastic. You get to go all over the world. So you get to have an idea of where you want to end up maybe after you retire. Although with this kind of a business, you never retire. There's the chance that you will never retire. You just have fun until God calls you home, I guess.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely, as long as I possibly can.
Absolutely. So what kind of songs are you singing? What's your favorite kind of music that you're singing on stage as you're telling stories?
I always do Elvis's music, so it's, I sing, it's some of my favorite songs of his, and, things like that are favorites of, different people. So that's what I do. And I love doing it. It's fun. His music is, he's got a song for every mood, one for fun, one for just, being uplifted, and of course the gospel music. And then there's the love songs that touch everybody. So he's got a song for every occasion and every person.
Well, let me tell you, I have my television set up to where the default station is like Turner Classics. And I think that they play Elvis's movies on repeat constantly. I think, what do you have? Like 30 movies out there, right? And every one of the movies, he sang songs.
With the documentaries, yeah.
How many?
Yeah. 33 with the documentaries.
With the documentaries. Well, tell me about the documentaries. I don't think I'm familiar.
Well, there was Elvis, That's the Way It Is.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. The 68 comeback special and Hawaii.
Comeback special, yeah.
So those you'd count as the movies, I guess. Yes. Wonderful. Every once in a while, like at least once a year, I pop on the 68 comeback special and just vibe. Just feel good.
You just rock out, yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's
awesome.
Comeback special. He never went anywhere. It's my goodness. It's only 68. I guess what he had done movies and he kind of left the stage for a little while. Is that why it's a comeback special?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So do you dress in the black leather?
No. No, I don't do the black leather.
the white jumpsuits with the Humpty Dumpty collars?
No, I don't use the big collars or the jumpsuits. I have my own style, but anytime I'm on stage, there's always a nod to Elvis, whether it's in jewelry or the outfit that I'm wearing or the colors. Like I have a gold outfit. It's not the gold lame, but I do have a gold outfit, and I do wear white or in different colors like that. There's always a nod to Elvis in something that I'm wearing, always.
Well, I like some of the movies that have paid tribute and homage to the king of rock and roll. One of my favorite Elvis impersonators was a little Bruno Mars. He was featured featured in a movie called 3,000 Miles to Graceland, and he was singing a song. Oh my goodness! What and who would have known when he grows up he's going to become Bruno Mars,
international star? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
that's true. I think Elvis started a lot of people's careers.
I believe that to be true. Who's your favorite Elvis impersonator, if you have one?
I guess my favorite, the best of the best that I've ever seen, is Dean Z.
Okay, tell me about him. I got to know.
He travels all over the world, but he's stationed. He's based in Branson, Missouri, and he plays there some. But he goes all over the world. He is he's got it all. He's a really good looking young man. He's got talent. He's got charisma. He works the stage. I mean, he works hard. But he's also the thing that I love about him, and we're close friends, and I do love him like he's one of my kids. But is that he's not only pays such a great tribute to Elvis, but that he has that spirit of Elvis, that kindness and that gentlemanly way, and he's just a doll is what he is. And I really think the world of him, and he's a great entertainer in his own right.
Well, I like that you mentioned Branson, Missouri, because that's like the closest really fun type of, tourist town to me. And I've been through it, but I've never been to it. I've never stayed and kind of taken in the sights and gone through Branson. Yeah, I got to get to Branson, Missouri. I got to start pronouncing it the way you do, because I know that's probably the right way to pronounce Missouri.
Well, that's the way I pronounce it anyway.
Well, good. And I'm trying to get country. I'm a Yankee from Miami, Florida, in the Florida Keys, which is where Keys Dan came from. But here I am in Arkansas, trying to acclimate, trying to get myself, be part of the community and be a part of it. I mean, the whole reason I got into this was to learn about people. It's purely selfish on my end. I want to know everything there is to know about everything. And one of the ways is to find out from people. And I'm finding out from you, Donna Presley, what makes you tick and how you, and not just you, like I said, you are not just you. You are your family. You are your whole family. You are your ancestry coming to the stage, bringing a show to the people. And they have to appreciate that. What's been the feedback for you from singing your cousin's songs, some of the hits, and are you singing some of the songs that he wanted to sing as well? Because some of the Elvis impersonators that I've seen will also sing some of the songs that were on his playlist, maybe for that next show that he didn't quite make it to. Do you sing some of those?
Right. And I do want to do that, but the feedback's been really good. Most of it's been really, really positive, which has been great, because it's not something that, of course you sing your whole life in the shower, in the car, or whatever, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're standing on stage in front of people. But, it's been really, the people have been really, really kind and been great about it. So I'm enjoying that, and I appreciate it.
Well, I love getting on stage, and I love feeling the vibe from the crowd, the energy. That's what you need. If you could be singing in the car all by yourself. That's one thing, but you're going to get that. I don't know. Is it energy? Is it spirit? Is it energy, flow? Yes. Is it back and forth? Without that crowd, it's less. It's electric. Absolutely. We are electric. We are made of electric. That's scientific. Our brains are working on electric, our hearts, so you're exchanging every time you touch someone, you shake a hand, you give them a fist bump, you're exchanging atoms, you're exchanging electricity. And there's a flow, the whole universe. And if you believe in the Big Bang Theory, it all came from one tiny little thing, and bam, we're all connected. We're all in a cosmic string. Where am I going with this? I don't know. My head is going crazy because I'm talking to the cousin of the king of rock and roll, who's got the blood going through her veins, and she's taking it further. You're going further. You're going further than Elvis sadly couldn't go. You're taking the memory and you're also adding a little bit of your own flair to it. Because who else's flair could you add? You're Donna Presley, for crying out loud. It's all you can be is Donna Presley.
That's right. I'm not Elvis, so I just have to be me.
Yes, and that's a wonderful thing. So glad that I've had the opportunity to chit-chat with you a little bit. I know we've only scratched the surface. We haven't even, I mean, we got a little bit of where you were and where where you are, but where are you heading? What's the next, what's on the horizon for Donna Presley? I saw on your Facebook page that you had come from this cruise. I guess you're still involved with a lot of the tourism side of the Elvis Presley industry. But where are you heading? Where are you heading now? Where's on the horizon for you?
Well, of course, in August, Elvis Week's coming up, so I'll be in Memphis a lot, so for that. But also, the first part of September, I go to the UK. So I'll be there the first week and a half of September. And then the latter part of September, I go on another cruise. It's the Firebirds Rock and Roll Cruise. So it's the, it leaves out of Italy. And so we'll be going to Greece and different places. So that'll be a lot of fun. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then we'll see what happens after that. Well, I have plans for next year as well. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I suspect people are going to start following you and stalking you, and hopefully they'll follow you around and they'll say, "Hey, I heard you on that What Makes You Famous podcast. I found out where you're going to be," and they're just going to chase you around all over this planet of ours.
That would be great.
That would be great. All right. Well, I know that you've given some shout outs. You've given some ideas of who's been helping you along the way, but who has been helping you along the way? This is the time where you give shout outs to people because we can't do it all by ourselves. We need a team to help us through things. I mean, who's helping you to produce the shows? Who's your stage managers? Who's helping you through this life?
Well, I got Nashville Entertainment with TJ Cates and Jill Santabez. They're awesome. I love them to death. And then I work with a guy in Austria and Germany and on the TCB cruise by the name of Dennis Jail. He does a great tribute to Elvis, and he's not an impersonator or a tribute artist, but he does. He brings like myself and other members of Elvis's band and backup singers and so forth, and we all work together, and it's like a big family. So, he's been really instrumental in helping me a lot as well. And then, it's just the people that you meet, all the producers and so forth that I've worked with on shows, and the people that I worked with in Sweden and Italy and everywhere you go, you meet fascinating and wonderful people that are so helpful and so kind, and they become lifelong friends of mine. So all of them I want to give a shout out to, and they know who they are.
Hey, is there a favorite Elvis song that you like to sing? I know it's like picking your babies, but what's the one that you feel like that's the one that you put your heart into? You love it. I'll say mine. Mine's My Way.
Okay.
I go somewhere between Frank Sinatra and Elvis, but more on the Elvis Presley side, especially at the end when he belts out that My Way, that part, even though I'm not a great singer, but I have a lot of echo on my soundboard that makes me sound a little bit better. But what's your favorite song to sing?
I like to do Let It Be Me. I love that song. When I was in Sweden, I sang with a gentleman by the name of Peter Ujeski. And we did Let It Be Me. We did Mess of Blues, which I like because it's got that really bluesy kind of, sound to it. And we did Sentimental Me, which is a love song. So, I like singing those kind of songs. I mean, I would love to be able to do Jailhouse Rock or something like that, but I don't think that I have the style for it. So So I'll stick with what's me.
When I'm doing the karaoke shows and the video dance parties, Jailhouse Rock, I will put it up on the screen and I will tout it as the first music video ever made because, that to me, it feels like that because it's a song. There's been a lot of recordings of bands that are on stage and doing their thing, but that is a video that was made. That's not a band. It's a story with it, told while the song is being played. So I think that's the first music video ever made. All right.
I agree with you. And I saw on Facebook today, you saw Michael Jackson. He'd always get up on his toes, And they put a picture of Michael Jackson on his toes and then Elvis on his toes. And said, sorry, Michael, Elvis did it first. So.
Oh, yes, he did. Okay, now another one that's probably going to be hard for you to do. Favorite Elvis song? Mine, Such a Night. Only because when I heard it in 3,000 Miles to Graceland, I've heard it before, but when it was in that movie, in that context, as a music cue, boom, Such a Night.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
That's a great song. I like that one as well. I do. I like some of the more obscure songs as well. I mean, of course, American Trilogy and If I Can Dream and How Great Thou Art, things like that are, they're everybody's favorites. But, I personally like the more obscure songs like Just Ask Me, Never Ending and, things like that, that you didn't hear all the time. So I like those because Elvis could literally sing the phone book and make it sound good. So everything that he sang was amazing.
Oh, you got that right. And I want to give a shout out to Steve, another guy that's on the does the karaoke show. He sings In the Ghetto, and it's just so beautiful.
Oh yes, I know. I love that, and I love the way that when Lisa did it with Elvis. I love that.
Okay, and Lisa gone too soon as well.
Yes.
That's a whole nother hour. That's another hour podcast that we need to do and touch about you in Graceland and seeing all these stars come in and out. We haven't even touched on that. We haven't even brushed on that. Is there anything else that you want to tell people?
Something for later.
Yes. Is there anything that you want to tell people as we wind this thing down?
Elvis was such a wonderful human being and so loving and caring and, always gave love and respect to everybody. And if we can all do that, then we're carrying on a legacy that he left.
All right. Well, that was a beautiful sentiment in itself. Okay. And I do like that. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. I want you to come back if you have shows that you want to promote. And yes, I love TJ Cates and I love Jill Santabanez. And I always say it like that because I'm half Cuban from Miami. So you got to say it with a Cuban accent, Santabanez from Nashville Entertainment. And I'm glad that they put us together because I've had a blast talking and listening to you when you talk about your family, not just Elvis Presley, but you talk about the family. You talk about your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sister. You talk about the people that you've touched along the way. You light up. You got this smile it's infectious, and I've been smiling over here on this side of the video the whole time, and it's because of you, Donna Presley. No, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And I've enjoyed our time together. It's been fun.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't fishing for compliments.
No. I'm serious. I'm completely serious. You've made it fun, and I've really enjoyed it. So we'll definitely have to do this again.
I appreciate that. All right. I always like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Donna Presley, give the last words for the people.
Well, I want to tell you something Elvis told me when I was 18 years old, and he asked me what I wanted to do with my life, and I told him I wasn't sure yet. He said, you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want if you remember these four things. Always have faith in God, always have faith in yourself, Be willing to work for what you want and never let anyone tell you that you cannot accomplish your dreams, because I'm living proof that you can. So go out there, no matter what age you are or what dreams you have, and live your dreams.
Well, there you have it, party people. Donna Presley. Okay, you know what? I forgot to get your title. If Elvis Presley is the king of rock and roll and you're his cousin, you must have some title. Maybe the Lady of Rock and Roll, maybe the Duchess of Rock and Roll. I mean, what goes with king? You know, can I be a court jester? No, not even close. What would Dame? The Dame of Rock and Roll, the Dame. I never did get your title, Donna Presley. It was so good talking to you, though. My goodness, you're a sweet lady, and I could tell you love not just Elvis Presley, but your family and the history, and you want to keep it alive. You want to keep it alive. All your family members and that have gone, you're going to keep them alive with the stories that you tell. And that's how we keep our loved ones alive, the ones that have passed, the ones that have shuffled off this mortal coil. We keep talking about them and we think about them, and they stay alive forever and ever. Yes, I want you to have another 100 years at least. Okay. As long as they're healthy years, I want you to live a long, healthy life. But, hey, you actually have some knowledge of what to do after we pass away. And that's a skill. I don't have it, but it's a good skill to have in the mortuary services. We want to take care of the people even after they've gone, because they mean a lot to us. And that's fantastic. Donna Presley, you're so full of knowledge, and I appreciate you. And I'm going to be following you around on your various sites and your various. I have your website, the DonnaPresleyCollection.com, and the Facebook. I'll definitely put those in the show links below. So make sure you do some clicking and do some following of Donna Presley. Oh, fantastic. Hey, I'm still giddy over here. Thank you, Donna Presley, for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. Now, if I'm turning my attention to you. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.